said, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can, and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. Are these simply the wise words of an old man from a bygone era, irrelevant in today's day and age? Or are they something more? There is indeed a path we must walk, one we are straying from with each passing day. It is only when we realize this in each of our hearts that we will be saved. Time is running short, and people are dying. We must wake up and seize control of our fate, lest we allow it to destroy us.
User registered. Lieutenant Christopher Graham. Stand by for training module initialization. Welcome to Liani Precision Engineering's VCAS training module, Series 1A. Your records indicate that you are receiving this training as part of a revalidation procedure for the United Nations Intelligence. Do not touch any controls until you are told to do so. Failure to follow instructions will result in termination of this training module. First, let us review VCAS itself. The LPE Virtual Combat Assistance System is a tactical heads-up display, combat computer and sensor suite developed for use by the UNAF and other related agencies. The system connects to your unit's central battle net, usually hosted from a vessel or base camp. Upon connection loss, VCAS reverts to using helmet-mounted processors to carry out its functions, albeit at reduced capacity. The system contains several core functions, with a highly expandable framework to allow for individual unit customization. For the purposes of this and following training modules, we will focus only on the core features. Now, for this module we will introduce the area scan and HUD target render functionality. A few enemy targets have been placed in front of you. Open the VCAS action menu and select Render Targets to HUD. Good. As you can see, VCAS renders virtual icons on your HUD, displaying the location and type of every target within a set range. This function will also distinguish between friend and foe through different icon colors, as you can see based on my icon's color versus that of the hostile targets. This function will only be active for a short period of time, after which the icons will disappear. You can always execute another render if you wish to bring them up again. Now we will move on to the area scan function. Open the VCAS action menu and select Perform Area Scan. Excellent. The area scan function is similar to the render to HUD function, but it works at a much longer range. However, this function relies on a simpler lifesign pulse which can only display target locations on your map based on their position at the moment of the pulse. Additionally, the nature of the area scan function means that it does not distinguish between friend or foe. Intelligent use of these functions can give you a great advantage in the field. To demonstrate, an enemy will be placed in front of you, obscured behind a thin barrier. Utilize the functions we have discussed to locate the target behind the barrier and eliminate him with your weapon by firing through it. Good. This concludes VCAS Training Module, Series 1A. Feel free to continue practicing with the render to HUD and area scan functions. Otherwise, you are clear to end the session at your convenience. User registered. Lieutenant Christopher Graham. Stand by for training module initialization. Welcome to Liani Precision Engineering's VCAS training module, Series 1B. Your records indicate that you are receiving this training as part of a revalidation procedure for the United Nations Intelligence. Do not touch any controls until you are told to do so. Failure to follow instructions will result in termination of this training module. We will now introduce the objective tracking system. Due to VCAS integration with your unit's battlement, the system is capable of tracking and displaying mission-critical objectives in real time, as relayed by command elements or created as part of squad directives. Should you wish to disable this functionality, you may do so through the VCAS action menu. However, for the purposes of this training module, that option is currently unavailable. To demonstrate the functionality, a simple move objective will be created 50 meters from your current position. The objective is now rendered on your HUD and will display its status based on its color. Blue for assigned, green for completed, red for failed and gray for cancelled or unassigned. The objective is now assigned. Proceed to the location to complete it. Well done. Now, 2 different objectives will be created. Try assigning one or the other through your Tasks tab in your map to see how the display changes according to your choices. An enemy target will now be created. As you can see, VCAS will also track moving objectives. Eliminate the target objective now. Excellent. The objective display for completed and cancelled tasks will remain on screen for 5 minutes after completion before being deleted. This concludes VCAS Training Module, Series 1B. You are clear to end this session at your convenience. User registered. Lieutenant Christopher Graham. Stand by for training module initialization. Welcome to Liani Precision Engineering's VCAS training module, Series 2C. Your records indicate that you are receiving this training as part of a revalidation procedure for the United Nations Intelligence. Do not touch any controls until you are told to do so. Failure to follow instructions will result in termination of this training module. This module will introduce several VCAS HUD-related features, such as the low light mode, ammunition monitoring, and personal life signs tracking. Let us begin with the low light mode. As you know, VCAS displays information to you through a pair of tactical contact lenses. Thanks to microtechnology, the lenses have miniaturized cameras and projectors which can work in tandem to enhance the user's vision at night or in dark environments. The camera's aperture is increased and the resulting image is projected directly into the retina, providing a far clearer view than what would be achievable with traditional night vision goggles. Now that it is dark, open the VCAS action menu and toggle on the low light mode. Well done. You are now able to easily distinguish between shapes and volumes despite the extreme lack of light. Be careful when using this mode during daylight, however, as the resulting flood of light could be damaging to your eyesight. Next, let us examine VCAS ammunition monitoring system. The system will automatically connect with compatible weapon systems to determine their ammunition count in real time. In the case of connection failure, or if the currently used weapon is incompatible, VCAS will rely on image recognition to determine the type of weapon and use auditory cues to attempt to track ammunition usage. Fire your weapon until it is nearly empty. Excellent. As you can see, VCAS alerts you when your ammunition is low, alternatively prompting you to reload if it detects you are in a possible engagement where it would be advantageous to do so. As with most VCAS features, ammunition monitoring can be disabled if need be through the VCAS action menu. Now, let us introduce the personal life signs tracking system. Notice the flashing area on your HUD. This icon shows where on your body injuries have been sustained, along with an overall percentage indicating your current state of health. This number is derived from many factors, such as heart rate, blood pressure, number and severity of injuries, along with several neurotransmitter levels. This information is provided to VCAS through your Arma's standard issue bodysuit, which contains the necessary sensory equipment. As such, VCAS will only be able to determine heart rate and blood pressure if you are not wearing a compatible suit. We will now simulate damage taken to show the system's functionality. This concludes VCAS training module, Series 2C. You are clear to end this session at your convenience. User registered. Lieutenant Christopher Graham. Stand by for training module initialization. Welcome to Liani Precision Engineering's VCAS training module, Series 2X. Your records indicate that you are receiving this training as part of a revalidation procedure for the United Nations Intelligence. Do not touch any controls until you are told to do so. Failure to follow instructions will result in termination of this training module. This module was developed in cooperation with UNI 3rd Fleet. You will now be shown how to utilize VCAS to dynamically mark targets as well as having high-value targets marked for you by your commanders. In front of you there are now 3 hostile targets, one of which is a high-value target or HVT that is meant to be captured. If enough intelligence is available about the target, your command ship can use its electronic warfare suite to designate the target for you on your HUD. As you can see, the high-value target is now designated with a summary of relevant orders displayed next to him. These targets will always remain on your HUD as long as your commanders deem it necessary. On the other hand, you also have the ability to manually target and track targets yourself. Point at the target to your left and press T to target him. Excellent. Notice how he is now marked on your HUD. If he moves out of your line of sight, an arrow will appear pointing towards his direction. You can use this function to target enemies and be aware of their location through thick vegetation or urban environments. VCAS can keep track of a theoretically unlimited number of targets as long as the system is connected to your command ship. If connection is lost, however, VCAS will only be able to track up to 5 targets simultaneously due to the limited processing power of your helmet-mounted computer. Several targets will be spawned in front of you. Target all of them. Well done. Now, they will be randomly placed in a simulated urban environment. Use their target indicators to find and eliminate them all. Be advised that the targets will fight back, so make sure to manage your shields carefully to avoid failing this training module. work. Note that this system is independent of and does not conflict with VCAS core render targets to HUD functionality. Both functions can be used simultaneously in a way that best suits your needs. For example, you can use the render to HUD function to first locate enemies and then target them to keep track of their movements indefinitely. This concludes VCAS training module, Series 2X. You are clear to end this session at your convenience.